Good morning. Happy Monday. It is another rainy day here in Massachusetts, another rainy Monday. So indoor recess will be had. It is a busy week. So last night we had Theo's 9th birthday party, which was a lot of fun, but it was like 4:30 to 6:30, a random time. So I'm a little tired. We also have today after school, we have a staff meeting. We have sports practices all week long. And then Wednesday and Thursday of this week, I actually won't be in school because I have a mandatory training. We're using Hill for Literacy, which is the Science of Reading aligned. I think they do PD. I'm not super familiar with them, but this PD is going to be, I know it's Science of Reading aligned, which I like, and I know it is small groups. So the 2 days on Wednesday and Thursday, I will need to prep for a sub because I have small group training. They're doing that for all new staff that was hired this year, which I love, so we can all be on the same page because other staff members got it last year or the year before. So that will be fun, but also busy because I need to plan for my sub, and it'll be the first sub I've had all year, obviously. And then also Tuesday night is Theo's open house, and Thursday night I'm going to Calvin's open house at 5, and then my open house for my first graders is at 7. And then Friday's a half day because we have PD in the afternoon. So it's going to be a busy week. I'm already a little tired thinking about it, but I'm going to bring you along with me. I will share what we're doing for open house probably tomorrow or the next day. But yeah, it's Monday. I need to go look at my plans from last week that I already did. I do all of my plans and slides for the following week on Thursday evenings. So Thursday's like my late day, but I don't stay at school and do it just because I can do everything much faster on my own home computer. So I leave school and I go kind of lock myself in my office for like a good 3 hours and get all my slides, all my lesson plans, everything ready for the following week. So now today, hopefully I should just go onto my computer, look at my slides, remind myself of what I'm doing, and make sure I have everything out and ready to go. All right, let's go. What did I bring in? I brought some meal prep containers that I'm going to use, and I got a bunch of craft sand in some different colors. So I'm going to mix 2 colors in each of them for the students. And I think I have plenty of room to store things kind of over here. So I think I'm going to find a place to store those so they're not just stacked on top of one another. But I'm going to use these for when we do our 3-part drill for the auditory part, especially on Fridays. So I thought it would be fun. We've been using our bumpy boards, which I love for like quick and easy access. But on Fridays, I want to make it like fun Fridays. So I want to keep doing the same activities, but make it a little more fun. And I just think the sand will be great with that. So that's the plan. I'm not going to set these up though. So I'm just going to put them in the corner and deal with those later in the week. I should also mention that at every morning meeting, I play music in the background. So I have my own little Spotify playlist, which is mostly just like classical music and some Disney classical, which is just a nice calming way to start the day. All right, getting ready for kids. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Remember I told you how tired and how busy this week was going to be? Well, my son last night, my older one, was having some nightmares, so he was up for about 3 hours. So I already drank an entire coffee. I have another one in the back, and I may need one this afternoon because I didn't sleep. And today, before I leave school, I need to have 2 days worth of sub plans to be prepared for the trainings that I have over the next 2 days, which I'll tell you about. And I also need to finish up my slide deck for Thursday for our open house. So I did stay late yesterday. We had our staff meeting, and then I stayed about an hour after, so I was here till about 5:30. And I tried to prep most of Tuesday's plans. So let me show you what I did for that. Okay, so here is what I left out for Tuesday. This is going to be like a pile. I won't leave it all like this, but it helped me see what I had. So my sub will also have access to our sub folder. My sub folder, which has like my class list. It has all sorts of procedures, any safety information, things like that. But I did type up, here are the plans. It's like a 7-page thing, but I try to go into detail. So up at the top, I explained that in my class, we don't use any sort of extrinsic reward system for behavior, but I do like to save that for subs. I think I talked about this before. I don't know if I have or not, but I'm also going to explain that to parents on open house night. So we really try to focus on intrinsic motivation and why we, why we should be good listeners, why we should do this, why we follow directions, etc. But all that being said, I save the external things for subs. So I told my aide this already so she can help out, but basically this little owl chart here, they can hang on the board. And I wrote down some examples like, if they listen the first time, if you see somebody being really kind, if they're quiet in the hallway, the class can earn a dot. And if they fill up the whole 10 frame by the end of the day, they can each get a sticker. So the whole class will work together to kind of do this. I gave out stickers last year when I was subbing, and it was a great way for me to kind of, have a leg up as a substitute. So something for them to work on that's a little different from the usual. So that is how we will do our behavior. I also explained that there are slides to go along with everything, and that was emailed to them. But in case technology doesn't work, they don't need it. And I did, of course, print out these slides. That way, if they need to reference what I'm talking about, they have an idea there. And then I kind of typed everything up. Other little things I said, like all finished work will go in the turn it in bin. All unfinished work will go in their catch up folders. I said, don't worry about finishing everything. But on the flip side, if there's downtime, I gave them ideas of what to do. And then I kind of just walk through each part of the day. Hegarty, phonics, so on and so forth. And then everything here that I mentioned is going to be in order of the day. So we have our slides, our behavior chart, attendance, Apple sounds is going to be for phonics. In reading, I'm going to have them read these right here, those shoes, and then do a little retell. That's what we're practicing anyway. And those shoes is another example of realistic fiction. In math, we started number bonds. I can show you what we're doing in math. I'll show you a little bit. But I printed these out for Math in Focus for extra practice. In writing, we are practicing writing complete sentences with spacing, capitalization. This is from my sentence writing packet. So they will look at the picture and write a sentence to describe what's happening. And then those who finish will do a sentence scramble. We've been doing these warm-ups a lot over on the board, the writing warm-ups, where we have to put a sentence in order based on the syntax knowledge we have. And then at the end of the day for social studies, we will do a scholastic news. And then for Thursday, we will have a very similar layout. We have a couple different things. There's like an assembly on Thursday, of course, my kids' first assembly. So I want them to talk a little bit about assembly behavior, how we should act and all that. That would be a great time to earn a sticker on our owl chart, but I'll have it set up the same way. And like I said, I do email them slides in case they want to use them. They're not interactive, so they shouldn't have to worry about anything, but it does help kind of guide along the day if they want to have the slide up there. But as always, if it doesn't work, they can do the day without it completely. In math, yesterday I introduced what a number bond is. So today we're going to kind of strengthen that a little bit. I have these little number bond mats. Apparently I'm supposed to have some that are whiteboards, but I could not find them. So I actually need to ask my math specialist about that to see if I can get some. But these are the slides we're going to kind of walk through. Look at these cubes. How can you break this train into different parts? As we do that, I will put them in a number bond up there. And then I explained to them a number bond is a great way to show the connection between numbers. I really like to emphasize that we're not just talking about two parts making a whole, but also how a whole can be broken up into two parts. So it's not just addition that we're showing here. I will take those number bond mats that I just showed, and I will take a cube train and I will show them how to break it into smaller amounts and kind of put it on the board and how I will label it. And then I will have students go ahead and do that exact same thing with a partner until they fill up that sheet. And then last but not least, I created some sheets like this for students to try to figure out, and I put the cubes there at first to have them identify it. And I have two sheets actually. This is the one where only the whole is missing, because we'll start there. And then the second sheet also has some of the parts missing for them to try and figure out. And then of course we always end with a little closing. It says, how do you find a missing part of a number bond? So students will either share aloud to me or talk to a partner and share their answers about that. So that's what we're doing in math. We also really got our literacy time rolling. I think I told you we have that 20-minute genre study. I talked about realistic fiction last week, but then we also have a 30-minute small group reading time. And I promise I will do a video sharing what we do for small groups, how I manage that, and our win time, because I know a lot of people asked. I just want to give it another week or so to really explain it. But we did dive into the reading group time, and what we did yesterday I really liked, so I want to share that with you. Here are all my literacy task cards, and I think I shared this with you before, but basically in small groups when students were coming to me, I was explaining how to do these. So I kind of showed them. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but we have some that are basic letter name, letter sound. We go to CVC words. No, that's beginning sound. Where's a CVC word? This is a tricky CVC word one. And it goes all the way blends, digraphs. We have a bunch of them, but most of my students had already learned how to do these with me. So after we do our genre study, I give students in pairs a task card set to complete. So this one would be find the picture. So this is a beginning sound one. And after they complete this, they can go ahead and then get out their iPad and do either IXL assignments for literacy or a RAS Kit assignment. And if they're done with both of that, they can do EPIC. It's really only a 30-minute period of time, so it goes by pretty quickly. Right now I'm meeting with only one group. My goal is to meet with two during this time, but right now we're still managing and trying to set up the expectation. So basically by the time my students get their task cards, finish it with their partner, checked each other's work, they really have about 10 more minutes left to go do that either IXL assignment, RAS Kids, or EPIC. So over on the slides, this is what it looks like. This is what we are doing during our genre study today. So we're gonna practice retelling using a 5-finger retell. We will do it with Jabari Jumps because we already read that book. Something I'm loving about this genre study is that we reread books over and over. I mentioned this in literacy videos I've done in the past, but something I'm trying to work on is rereading the same book to look for more of these details, because that way students are so much more familiar with what's actually happening in the story instead of reading a new book every time. So we will do that. And then I just show this slide right up here. So this shows them that they are going to do the task card with their partner. And like I said, I will tell them who their partner is and which task box they're getting. And then for today, they're going to Clever, to IXL, and to language arts. And I have 3 things starred in there. I think the 3 things are rhyming practice, as well as some CVC practice, I think. I've been really into having the slides lately. It helps me. That's kind of how I lesson plan. I do have everything listed out on like a Google Doc sheet where I talk about the skill that I'm teaching, but really I do most of my lesson planning up there, and it helps guide the day for not only me, but the students as well. So I'm really enjoying that. All right, it is time to make some copies and get ready for the day. So I will check in with you after school. Good morning from my house today. I have virtual training all day today and tomorrow. So it is the Hill for Literacy training, which is science of reading, and it's going to be focused on small groups. So I'm actually really excited about that. But what I'm also excited about is that I can wear my pajamas all day and I can make myself a nice big breakfast. I don't have to rush out. But the last couple of days having to plan for subs for 2 days in a row was very stressful. Also, I always thought a Stanley was like ridiculous, but when you were a teacher and you can't leave your classroom for, to go get water, a Stanley is actually like a lifesaver. So I lost mine and I had to get a new color. I thought it was cute for fall. Hello, popping in from after the training. Day 1 is done. It's a great training because it's really explicit and teaches you the exact steps they want you to follow for our small group literacy instruction. I have never worked in a district that has, and I said this in one of my other videos, but I've never worked in a district that has this many materials, training, supplies, like already done for you. So what they want us to do is essentially they want all the teachers to follow this same instruction with fidelity because it is research-based. Hill for Literacy, I think I said this, is the kind of company that is giving us this training, but it is all completely based around the research and the science of reading. There were a couple cool things I wanted to point out, but I do want to show you. Here is a little picture of their pyramid, and these are the steps you're going to take in your small group reading instruction. So you want to follow all of them, and you want to make sure you do it, like I said, with fidelity. Our curriculum coordinator was in on the trainings and she really emphasized that point. So all of these steps are things I have done before, some of them in slightly different ways, and the wording, the verbiage, we shall say, is slightly different for a couple of the things I would normally do. But that's good because I tend to be too wordy, and what the trainer was really emphasizing too is that we want to make sure we don't kind of disrupt the auditory pathways. I think that's what she said. But essentially, if we are trying to give students, if we're like having them blend sounds and I'm saying things in between them blending the sounds, I'm breaking up what they're doing, right? Or if they're segmenting sounds and then I'm asking them to say the whole word, basically whatever task I'm giving them to do, they are already using their brain, using all that workload. And if I am saying all these things in between, like good job, or no, this, no, go do that, no, do that, I'm interrupting that pathway and they have to kind of start over again. So I thought that was a really great tip. So you can see here that the 9 steps are introducing irregular words, irregular word practice, so our high frequency words, and they basically do this just like heart words, where you are introducing the parts that are known and you are also pointing out the unknown or the irregular parts. So we use heart words, and that is how we will do that up there. Then we go into phoneme blending, so t, a, p, tap. Students will have to say the word. Then we go into some quick visual practice with the sound cards. We are using Foundation, so I would just hold up the card and they would say M, man, and we would flip through some of those. Then we go into some quick sound review. So students will see a grid. It might say like WH, TH, CH, AW, whatever sounds they've already learned, and they quickly go ahead and go through all those sounds. Next up on the pyramid is blending, and that's kind of where we ended today. We practiced 4 different types of blending that we would do with students. Most of them I've mentioned here on this channel before: continuous blending, making sure we're using those continuous sounds so students can hold it in their mouth the whole time. Successive blending, here they call it sound by sound blending, but it's basically successive blending. Let's say the word is top. We would just show the T and I would say sound, T. Then we would show the O, sound, ah. Blend, ta. Then we would add the P, say sound, p, blend, top. That's usually how I start all my first graders when we are blending whole group, starting with that successive blending. The third type of blending was one I hadn't heard of before. I don't even think I've seen anybody talk about it. This one's called sound-focused blending, and essentially you would show the whole word. Let's pretend the word is tail, and then before students read it, you just say sound, and you would like point under the AI. Under that vowel sound that you're having them practice, they would say A. Then you say word, tail. So it's just a quick way for them to practice that sound first and then go ahead and blend it. And what it really helps students do is unitize, so they can really see that AI together, they can say it, and then they know the T and the L blend it all together. And then the last blending routine we did was multisyllabic words. And a lot of that we won't really touch in first grade until later on in the year. But, covering up some of that word with a Post-it, having students really go ahead and blend that first part first, and then adding on the second one. But so far it is a really great training. The part that I was concerned about is that we had to follow it to fidelity. And they're for these decodable books that we had. And I was like, this seems like a lot of planning, because there's things like you have to put all the words in grids. You have to figure out exactly what sight words you are doing beforehand, which is what I would normally do, but having it done in a very specific way would require a lot of prepping and planning. But our district, apparently over the summer, a team of teachers got together with a bunch of the decodable text, and they already created all of the lesson plans for you. So it's like completely scripted out, has everything you need already ready to go with each of the decodables. Because the next steps after the blending, they do a little more word reading, and then we go into that decodable text, and then a few other things at the end, which I will learn more about tomorrow. I am very happy to have had a training that was well worth my time. It was a lot of sub-plans, but that is okay. It was very beneficial. So now I need to get ready for parent-teacher conferences. They are tomorrow night, and I have a few slides that I want to finish up before we get started. I think what I'll do is finish up these slides now, and then tomorrow night I will pop in with you and kind of share what we're doing for open house and how it went. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, happy open house night. I am here early. It is almost 4 o'clock. My open house is until 7, but I have to go to Calvin's second grade open house at 5. And since I wasn't here today due to the training, I wanted to kind of come in, clean the classroom, get it all set up, but it actually was left very nice for me. I'm very happy. But I wanted to go over my slides and what we're going to do for open house tonight so you can see a little bit about that. So when parents come in, this will be the slide kind of shown Ms. Jones' class, and then they will have a little note on their desk for them to fill out for their kid. So I'll kind of have them do that as they come in. All right, next up we have the teachers of room. Obviously I blocked out some of the other names. The first one is me, of course. The next one is my aide. And then we have 2 other teachers that pop in and out of the room and work with students pretty consistently in here. They're not in my classroom all the time, but I wanted to let parents know about them, so that way if they go home and they hear this name, they kind of know who that person is. Then we have Meet Me. I'm just going to share a little bit about myself and how long I've been teaching, my background, all that. Then we have our classroom schedule. I'm going to just walk through what our day looks like and a little bit about our special schedule. Then I'm going to go into the WIN block and kind of just explain why I love the WIN block. It's what I need. It's 45 minutes long of differentiated instruction. This is a good time to talk about RTI and how we do it here at our school. And then also mention that it's a time for enrichment for those students who also need that kind of push. Here's a little slide to talk about the curriculum that we use. I'm not going to go super in depth on either of these. The parents will have a packet about all of the first grade expectations with academics. So if they want more details, they can go through there. And then we have a science of reading formula here. The next page kind of goes into how our curriculum aligns with it. Science of reading is obviously a big push in many districts, but it has been in ours for the last few years. So just want to kind of emphasize this with parents because it's a school goal and parents should be aware of it. And then just kind of breaking down word recognition, language comprehension, and writing, and kind of what programs and things we do in first grade that are going to align with the science of reading. Next, we have our writing slide. I want to share this. This is my original letter from 2012 when I was still Miss Moran. If you've been around on YouTube for a while, I've shared this many times. I've shared it since 2012. So this is just the inventive language or inventive spelling letter, and I'm going to give them a chance to go ahead and read it themselves. And then we'll talk about the importance of inventive spelling and also the importance of teaching them how to spell phonetically correct, which we also do throughout the year. Then just a little slide on math so I can go over some of the important concepts we are going to learn this year. And also a little bit about social emotional learning. That is another school goal that we are working on. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that. Then after all the academics, I wanted to make this little slide that's just my wish, just saying, academics aside, this is my wish for this year. And it's just that your child feels loved, supported, and seen, learns to persevere through challenges, builds confidence, and can identify their strengths and weaknesses, is a kind, supportive peer, and that they learn a lot at their own pace. Again, these are just my personal things that I wish for their kids. Some notes about arrival and dismissal, snack, lunch, and recess. Just again, going over some of the basics that we can go over. We also use Seesaw, so I want to tell them a little bit about how we're going to use Seesaw and what to look for in the app. Also go over our communication, what they can expect from me. They have their daily folder that goes home every day, a weekly email that I send out, that newsletter I've mentioned before, and then also phone calls I will make as needed. Then I have a slide for classroom management. I think I talked about this a little bit before, but I use, an intrinsic motivation type of management. I really want to focus on positive reinforcement. We know token systems can often fade quickly, and that doesn't mean I don't use them. I will save them for subs and special occasions, but really I want my students to develop this personal growth and responsibility and understand why we're following each of these rules. It's not just a rule that I'm giving to you and that, you need to follow it so you can earn a sticker, or you need to follow it so you can earn a whatever, fill in the blank. I really want them to understand and accept what that's all about. So we obviously have a lot of natural consequences then, and then we talk about how our actions affect ourselves and others. This is our homework slide. We don't give out homework. Families are very busy these days, especially in this district that I work in. So here are just some ideas of things that they can do. Report cards and conferences. A few things changed this year. We of course have a standards-based report card, and we moved up conferences. So just a few notes to make there. A little bit about birthdays, what the birthday student will get. We cannot send food in, so just a reminder. And then also to only send invitations if all students in the class are invited. And this would be a good time for me to thank parents who have bought stuff off my Amazon wish list because they made all the little gifts possible. Then these next two slides are help from home, and this is kind of first grade wide, self-advocacy and management when it comes to the bathroom, toys, technology, extra clothes, can you tie your shoes, and a spill-proof water bottle. And then the next slide is kind of what we're working on in my classroom specifically. So this is where I will ask parents for a little help about what we're working on, impulsivity, especially when it comes to speaking out, personal responsibility, which we're doing a great job of, especially with our classroom jobs and all of that, and then trying our best. Sometimes we are rushing through our work, so I really want to make sure that we are slowing down and really producing our best work. Then just a quick note on some ways that they can join us and be involved in our learning here. All information about this is going to go out later with more detail, but just a quick little overview. And then this last part is something I threw in, it's guess the self-portrait. So I had students draw a picture of themselves, and then parents will have to guess if they think one of those is their kid, and then the next slide has the answers. So we'll kind of go through each one, and they can see if they can identify their kid's work. And then I just said questions, make sure you leave a note for your child. I'm gonna change that from the Post-it to the little light bulb one. And then the last slide I can't show because it has, pictures of the kids all over it, but it just says, thank you for coming. So that's just a brief little overview of the slides and the presentation I will be giving. That was nice for me because I could give it a quick little run through. It is 45 minutes long. I feel like I'm gonna get through those slides in about 20 minutes. I also talk pretty quickly, so maybe I'll try to slow it down. Maybe people will have some questions and that will be good. I also think when parents come in, I'm gonna have music playing so it's not dead silent when they walk in. I'll have the same music that I have during our morning meeting time, that light classical music I'll have playing in the background. I think it'll be fun though. Wish me luck, and I will check in after the conferences to let you know how it went. Look who came to visit. Hello, I am back home. I just ate a pizza. I just turned all the lights off, or most of the lights off, to get ready to go to bed. Open house went great. My parents were wonderful. I only had 2 that didn't show up, but it was a lot of fun. The guess the self-portrait at the end was really cute and fun. Some parents knew exactly whose theirs was, and others were like, what? So that was just kind of a fun way to end it. But everything we got to talk about was great. We have conferences coming up in October, so any concern or further questions we can ask then. But overall, again, it was a great night. So I'm gonna end the vlog here because I'm exhausted, ready to go to bed. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up so I know. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and click that bell. That way you're notified of every new video. See you in the next one. Bye.